If you clicked on this video, that means you're looking for a sign to just become an international student, or you're looking to study abroad, and this is your sign to do it. Because the definition of the question of this video is so simple. What is an international student? But the experience is life-changing. Honestly, I'll keep it simple for you. As I said, it's a student who pursues academics in another country, another continent, as far away as you want. But the way we all shape our lives, and if you just like, you know if you know. My name is Lana and I'm currently an international student, and I vlog my whole life here and I answer some questions and all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions during the video, you can always leave a comment and I'll always answer. And I also vlog everything on my Instagram as well. I live in Spain and I go to IU University. I have been doing this for 2 years now, so I feel kind of like I have a grasp to speak about what is studying abroad, what is international students. In this video, I'm going to be discussing 4 different topics: reasons why people move, what is the moving process like, picking a university that's for you, and then at the end, what you're probably most interested about, which is what is our social life like. This is the sign, so let's get into it. Honestly, there are so many different experiences and I can only speak for myself, so this video is very much from my perspective, and there are many reasons as to why people move abroad. And for me, it was because I was outgrowing my environment, so that's my main one. And sometimes you just feel like the place you're in makes you feel stuck, and there are so many YouTubers out there, so many books that tell you if you feel stuck, sometimes it's not even you, sometimes it's not you, it's the place. If you don't like the people where you are, don't date where you are. If you don't like how you feel where you are, move. That is the biggest key to getting like that life change you might be looking for, because that's exactly what I did. And now I have more genuine friends, I have better friends, I'm happier, I'm in the sun for most of the year. I love it. And there is a huge change that comes from outgrowing your environment. Maybe it's just not for you anymore. Maybe you've outgrown and matured and you don't feel like these people are your people anymore, and that's fine, so you move. There's also other reasons like better education and better career opportunities, which is another reason that pushed me as well. Sometimes economies are better in other places, and if you're looking for that, or you're looking for a specific program that specializes in one of your interests, you can find those sometimes better abroad than at home. Finally, the exploring world cultures and travel bug, which is honestly a super good reason to go abroad as well, because if you are looking to explore and expand your mind, then absolutely this is an experience that you can get that 100%. So finding a university that is best for you. This is a topic that I can go in more depth on another video, because I did spend 3 months trying to find what university was best for me. I applied, I got in, I got rejected, all of these different things. So if you're interested, comment below and I can make a more specific video and talk even about some of the universities I applied to in my experience. But the truth is that everyone's approach to going to an international school or finding a school abroad is going to be different. And there's no right or wrong way to do it per se. The first thing that I would say to do is make a list of countries or regions that you're willing to go study. And for me, I knew that was Europe, so I mainly stayed into a list of European universities that I would want to go to. And from that, you'll find and can look and research the best universities for the specific programs that you're interested in, or maybe just the best universities in general in those regions or in those countries. But make that list and have a preference set, because if not, you're exploring the whole wide world and you're wasting your time. My second advice is to go find universities that cater to your interest. So you should find those universities that have the programs that you would be most interested in and are renowned for those programs. Go look up YouTube videos and to go on LinkedIn and connect with people who already go to that university. And this way you kind of get an idea of what that university might be like. You can ask all your questions about what a university is like. Sometimes even the website has access to chatting with current students, etc., etc. So try to find an in to see if that university seems like a good match for you. this is so crucial because always check that you have the requirements to even go and apply to that university or apply for a visa. So it doesn't matter, both for the application of the uni and the visa, you need to make sure you have the requirements for both. If not, you're wasting your time and money applying for something you can't even get into. Another great idea is to follow accounts like The Student World and other popular study abroad accounts that give advice and different universities that you could potentially go to and continue researching, so you're not starting from the ground up of, okay, I only know universities in my country or the really popular Ivy League universities in the United States. If you're looking for more bigger suggestions, you can follow accounts that do provide those suggestions. So what can you expect from the moving process? Honestly, the first thing is that expect to do a lot of paperwork before, and then once you actually get there, you still have so many other tasks you need to do, like getting a SIM card, opening a bank account, public transport. You have to relearn all that. So when you are considering moving abroad, just make sure that you understand that this is going to be a part of your life now. Another task you'll have to get done before you move abroad is finding an accommodation. Now, I think there's really mainly 3 options for this, which is you can be on campus or in an apartment, and you can find an apartment with either roommates or being alone. So those are the main decisions you have to make, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult because you have to consider, does your university offer to help you find accommodation? Because if you want to live in an apartment alone, you might not know what are the best real estate agencies and might not want to get scammed. So those are things you have to consider in the process as well. But for example, a university like mine, IE, it was able to help, and it provides its own real estate agencies trusted by students, made by alumni, etc., etc. When you're moving into that apartment, try to bring the least amount of stuff as possible. And I did not take this advice because I didn't really need it, but it also really depends on the length of your stay. If you're going to a university and you're going to be there for 5 years, maybe try to take as much as possible, especially if you're not sure when you're coming back home. If you're doing just a semester abroad and you're taking those 4 months, I really suggest take the time instead to declutter, make sure you're not bringing too much, because you can expect to bring a lot more back than bringing too much there. The final suggestion is just kind of out of respect, and that is to learn the language. I mean, respect is the first reason, but also it's going to help you get around so much. Try to learn even just the basics of ordering a cup of coffee, ordering a meal, talking to a cashier, asking where is something, learning a basic vocabulary, so that 1, people always appreciate if you can speak a little bit of the language before you go, and it's just going to make your life so much easier when trying to communicate with locals, especially if you're not in a city where it is extremely international. What is our social life like? Honestly, I can only speak from my experience once again, but there are a few things you should probably know when you're thinking about moving abroad and what your social life will turn into. The first thing is that unless you speak the language of the country you're moving to fluently, do not expect that you are going to have a friend group of locals. It's not because of the fact that you don't speak the language, but it's also just different to make friends with locals than it is to be friends with the other exchange students, other foreign people in the country. If you don't go to an international school, it can be a little bit more difficult to find those friends who speak English, the friends who also are on this kind of crazy life-changing experience. So I really suggest that if you are going to, make sure you're looking for maybe some online forums, you're looking for people online, group chats, who are having the same experience as you, so you guys can connect and you can have some friends before going. But honestly, you also have to be super careful, because don't trust everyone you meet online. And I am giving you like the big warning flashing signs that yes, this is a good way to try to make some friends before you go, but try to find groups that are more trusted than others. Sometimes your own university will have an exchange society. That's the best place to go. If you can't or don't have access to that, try using other things, but always keep your little hat of being careful on. Another thing as well that you can expect during your time abroad is that you will drift away from your friends at home. Maybe it's different for someone who's only stayed 4 months, But for me, as someone who has spent years away from home now, I can tell you that I am very different from the people here because we have had very different life experiences over the past couple of years. And you also just drift away naturally because everybody has a busy life, and because you're not actively next to that person all the time, you tend to just drift away. You can kind of expect sometimes that you will not have the exact same friends or be at the same status of friendship with the people back home than you used to. If you're also interested in getting to know a little bit more about the social culture of different countries you're interested in moving to, some suggestions are to research, to watch YouTube videos, and to kind of get to know what is the life like, what are people's friendships like, what are the do's and don'ts, or to even watch TV and you can kind of get an idea of how people interact with each other in that country. This is a good idea because there are some conservative cultures and there are some more open cultures, and with that you have to be mindful of the country you're going to and what are the different social customs of that country. Overall, bunnies, I want to remind you that becoming an international student has both of its good and bad moments. As I've mentioned, you have to be careful sometimes things just don't fit right. Those are all things that happen all the time, but every good and bad moment is so worth it. Really, it's the type of experience where sometimes you have to shed your old skin to grow into something new. And while yes, I understand it is so much easier to stay at home, just find a university that's close by to you, I am being completely honest, this is an experience that I would suggest literally anybody takes. If you have the bravery and the power and even just like that little seed in your head that tells you maybe I should do it, I am here to tell you, you absolutely should. And with that, you should probably follow my channel to see more stuff about studying abroad. But let me tell you, if this is something you're interested in, it's time to start pursuing it. It's time for those life-changing moments because this is an experience of a lifetime. And with that, I will see you next week. Bye, bunnies!